In handing over the documents to the Federal Prime Minister, Alhaji Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Her Royal Highness handed over sovereignty to a new nation.
As the 2022 presidential election is fast approaching, Nigeria is gripped by a sense of unease. Nigeria is plagued by suffering, lack, starvation. Amidst all this, the redesign of the Naira notes, fuel scarcity.
That's the problem I'm having. As I'm here, I'm stranded in the filling station. I'm stranded here because I'm not mobile. We are not allowed to buy fuel. I'm not doing black market with the fuel. I just needed the fuel for my generator so that I can preserve my food in my freezer.
The scarcity of fuel in Nigeria is really affecting me.
Flood, kidnapping, and a lot more. But something else is happening. Because in the next few days, the 2023 presidential election that will determine a new course in Nigeria will actually take place. The candidates for this presidential election are promising change, but the question I always have is, can they deliver this change? They are promising that they'll be leaders of a new course in Nigeria, but can they actually become those leaders? Are they there for their selfish purpose, or they are there because they actually want to make something happen out of Nigeria? As the campaign heats up, tensions are running high, and it seems that the fate of Nigeria hangs in the balance. Will the nation choose a leader who will bring hope and prosperity, or will it fall into the hands of those who seek to use the presidency for their own gain?
Even if you are not voting for me, still come out to vote on Saturday. It is about Nigeria, not Atiku Abubakar. It is about you and your future. In summary, my message to you is this: come out to vote, shun violence, ensure your vote counts and is counted. My name is Atiku Abubakar, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and may God bless you all.
It's obvious that the stage is set, suspense filled, and it's going to be a dramatic election, and the one that will shape the future of Nigeria and its people. The choices made will pivot Nigeria into a new course, or it will rise Nigeria out of the ashes of suffering, pain, lack, and starvation. One last question I have. Can they put the stop to the violence that has engulfed the country? Can they create jobs, opportunities, and a lot more? Before we talk about the 2023 presidential election, let's break it down and let's go back to how Nigeria got to this place it is today.
Lagos Racecourse is the scene, and it's the afternoon of Nigeria's great day, with thousands awaiting the climax and resolved to relish every minute leading up to it. Princess Alexandra, with Sir James Robertson, the retiring Governor-General, must have enjoyed the whole jubilant atmosphere of the occasion. A first-class show was put on for the benefit of spectators. Entertainers fairly let themselves go, tumbling head over heels with delight. Celebrating, however, as we all know, can be a bit exhausting. The princess was received with yells from the kids. Her friendly charm had quickly made her very popular. It was as the representative of Her Majesty the Queen that Princess Alexandra of Kent returned in the evening. She was about to hand over Nigeria's constitution. And presently, quoting the Queen's own words, she was to wish Nigeria a great and noble future. This was the moment for which the country's leaders, in partnership with British authority, had patiently worked. The Nigerians themselves emphasized that all has been done in friendship, and that friendship will continue. Meanwhile, top-ranking Nigerians, wearing their finest robes, watched in dignified silence as the climax of Independence Day was reached. In handing over the documents to the Federal Prime Minister, Alhaji Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, Her Royal Highness handed over sovereignty to a new nation. The Union flag flying for the last time. Princess Alexandra was present, of course, for the final ceremony that took place on the stroke of midnight. This was the dramatic takeover by the new nation's own green and white flag.
Nigeria, a nation with a rich history and diverse culture, is gearing up for the 2023 presidential election. But what does the future hold for the West African country? Let's just take a look at the history of democracy and politics in Nigeria. Since gaining independence from the Great Britain in 1960, Nigeria has had a very big, large and historical political story. In the early years, the country was ruled by military dictators, with periods of civilian rule intercepted between coups and counter-coups. It wasn't until 1999, after decades of military rule, that Nigeria transited back to a civilian government, which was led by our own Olusegun Obasanjo, a retired military general, who was elected as the president in 1999 and re-elected in 2003. Obasanjo's presidency marked a new era in Nigerian politics as he worked to strengthen democratic institutions and improve the economy. He also worked to improve the country's international standing, becoming a mediator in peace talk for countries like Sudan and Liberia. Since Obasanjo's presidency, Nigeria has had several democratic elections, with power being transferred peacefully between different political parties. However, the country still faces challenges such as corruption, religious and ethnic tension. As we look ahead to the 2023 presidential election, the question on many Nigerian minds is whether the country will continue to move forward on the path of democracy and development, or it will take a step back. Only time will tell. But one thing is certain, the future of Nigeria is in the hands of the people and their votes. So make sure you exercise your vote, because it's your right to shape the future of Nigeria. Now, we're going to talk about how Nigeria got to this point. But the truth is, before we talk about how Nigeria got to this point, before Nigeria gained her independence, let's talk about the history of Nigeria before independence. Who and who had played political roles in Nigeria and how they have impacted the whole economy of Nigeria. Because Nigeria got to this point politically because some group of people. Let's get back to the story. Before 1960, Nigerian history was shaped by a complex interplay of ethnic and religious groups, as well as the influence of European colonizers. The earliest known civilization in Nigeria were the Nok people, who flourished between 500 BC and 200 AD. They were followed by several other kingdoms and empires, such as the Kingdom of Benin and the Sokoto Caliphate, which controlled much of present-day Nigeria in the 19th century. In the late 19th century, European powers began to take an interest in the region, with the British eventually gaining control in Nigeria in 1914. The British established a system of indirect rule in which traditional rulers were used to govern the various ethnic groups, which often led to conflict and tensions between those groups. During this period, there were also several uprising resistance movements against British rule, such as the Women's War of 1929, led by Fumilayo Ransom Kuti, and the Aba Women's Riots in 1929. After World War II, there was a growing movement of independence in Nigeria, with political parties such as the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroonians, NCNC, and the Action Group, AG, emerging in the lead in the way. In 1954, the British government agreed to a new constitution that gained more autonomy to Nigeria, and in 1960, Nigeria gained her independence. However, the country's history of colonization, ethnic and religious diversities, and resistance movements set the stage for a complex and a gigantic political history that will follow post in the colonial reign. Now Nigeria has an independence. Let's watch what will happen after the independence. In the years leading up to Nigerian independence, three prominent leaders emerged on the political scene: Tafawa Balewa, Nnamdi Azikiwe, and Obafemi Awolowo. Each of them had a unique vision for the future of Nigeria, and their stories are intertwined as they worked together to achieve independence and shape the nation's early years. Tafawa Balewa, a teacher and a leader of the Northern People's Congress (NPC), believed in a united Nigeria where all political groups would coexist and prosper. He worked to bridge the divide between North and South, and his efforts earned the respect of leaders from both regions. On the other hand, Nnamdi Azikiwe, a journalist and a leader of the National Council of Nigeria and Cameroonians (NCNC), had a strong Pan-African vision for Nigeria. He advocated for a strong and independent Nigeria that would be a leader on the continent. Lastly, Obafemi Awolowo, a lawyer and a leader of the Action Group (AG), was a progressive who believed in capitalist economy and the welfare state. He wanted Nigeria to be a country where everyone had equal opportunities and was lifted out of poverty. Did you understand something that just happened? Three men emerged in the political scene. Firstly, we have Nnamdi Azikiwe, we have Obafemi Awolowo, and we have Tafawa Balewa. Three men from the three major ethnic groups in Nigeria. And in the 2023 presidential election also, three men are also coming from the three major ethnic groups in Nigeria. We have Sir Peter Obi, we have Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and we have Atiku Abubakar. Believe you me, whether you like it or not, this is not just a race for political posts, it's also a race for ethnic leadership. Do you understand now that the story that has existed over time is repeating itself? History is about to repeat itself. Anyway, let's get back to our story. However, the early years of independence were not without challenges. The country was deeply divided among ethnic and religious lines, and the economy was struggling. These three men found out that their visions for the country were not fully aligned, and they found themselves at odds with one another. Something sad happened. In the end, Tafawa Balewa was assassinated in a military coup in 1966. Azikiwe and Awolowo continued to play a major role in Nigerian politics, but the country was plunged into a period of military dictatorship that lasted until 1999. Despite their differences, the legacies of Tafawa Balewa, Nnamdi Azikiwe, and Obafemi Awolowo continue to shape the Nigeria to this day. And their ideas about unity, independence, and progress continue to inspire future generations of leaders. Now we all know the agenda of those men, and their main aim is to make Nigeria great again. But the question I have now is, the people coming out for the 2023 presidential elections, are they coming out with selfish interests, or are they coming out because they want to continue the legacy of the men that started politics in Nigeria? Anyway, we're going to find out. Let's get back to our story again. In 2023, Nigeria is preparing for its presidential election, and the country is once again facing deep divisions among ethnic and religious lines. As the campaign heats up, many are looking back to the legacy of Tafawa Balewa, Nnamdi Azikiwe, and Obafemi Awolowo, and the alliance these men formed to lead up to independence. For some, the example of the leadership that has just passed serves as a reminder of what can be achieved when leaders from different regions and backgrounds come together to work towards a common goal. We've seen that in the past with three men. They hope that the 2023 presidential election will see the emergence of a new generation of leaders who can put aside their differences and work towards a united and prosperous Nigeria. However, others see the failure of the triumvirate which is the three men that had led the progress of independence of Nigeria to this point. As a cautionary tale, warning to the dangers of leaders who put their personal ambition ahead of the good of the country. They argue that Nigerian history of ethnic and religious division, as well as the economic inequality, must be addressed before the country can truly move on. As the campaign progresses, the candidates are being pressured to present their plans on how to tackle these issues and how they would work to bring the country together. The candidates are making their best efforts to unite the nation, but at the same time, each of them is trying to appeal to their own ethnic and religious groups, and some are warning of the dangers of ethnic, political, and religious polarization. As the voting day approaches, the country is on the edge, with many questioning whether the 2023 election will be the step forward for Nigeria or a repeat of past failure. The ultimate outcome of the election remains to be seen, but one thing is certain. The legacies of Tafawa Balewa, Nnamdi Azikiwe, and Obafemi Awolowo will continue to loom large over Nigerian political landscape, and the future of the country will depend on the choices made by its leaders and its people in the critical moment. The question still remains: will they continue the legacy of our great grandfathers and ancestors, or will they cause a new change in Nigeria? In the lead up the 2023 presidential election in Nigeria, there are three prominent figures which have emerged the political candidates: Peter Obi, Bola Tinubu, and Atiku Abubakar. Don't forget these names. Each of them have a unique background and political vision, and their stories are intertwined as they navigate the complex and contagious world of Nigerian politics. Let's begin with the first candidate. Peter Obi, a businessman and the former governor of Anambra State, is seen as a political outsider and a fresh voice in the Nigerian political scene. He rose to the fame as a governor where he implemented policies that helped to improve the economy of his state and to reduce corruption. He is now running for the presidency and is promising to bring his business, intellect, and administrative experience to the country. At the other hand, we have Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a former governor of Lagos State and a national leader of the ruling party, which is considered one of the most powerful and influential figures in Nigerian politics today. He is known for his erotic and his ability to mobilize grassroots support. He's running for the presidency and he's promising to bring development to the country and to fight poverty and corruption. Atiku Abubakar, a businessman and a former vice president of Nigeria, is seen as a seasoned politician with a wealth of experience in government. He has a reputation for being a pragmatic and strategic thinker, and he has a wide network of contacts within the Nigerian political elite. He's running for the presidency and is promising to improve the economy and to create jobs. As the campaign heats up, these three candidates are crisscrossing the country, trying to build support and gain the trust of Nigerian people. Each of them has their own strengths and weaknesses, and their campaign are focused on different issues. Peter Obi is emphasizing his business background and his ability to create jobs and to improve the economy. Bola Tinubu is talking about his experience as the governor and his ability to bring development to the country. Atiku Abubakar is highlighting his experience as the vice president and his ability to improve the country's international standing. As the voting day approaches, the country is on the edge, with many questioning which of these candidates will emerge victorious. The ultimate outcome of the elections remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: the legacies of Peter Obi, Bola Tinubu, and Atiku Abubakar will continue to shape Nigerian political landscape, and the failure of the country will depend on the choices made by the leaders and the people at this crucial moment. As we all know, the 2020 presidential elections are approaching and tensions are high as the nation faces deep division among ethnic and religious lines. The country is at a crossroad and the choice of its next leader will determine its future. As the campaign heats up, these three prominent figures that have emerged, Peter Obi, Bola Tinubu, Atiku Abubakar, each of them have their own unique background and political vision, and their stories are intertwined to navigate the complex and often contagious world of politics in Nigeria. We all know that Peter Obi, a political outsider and fresh voice, promises to bring his business, intellect, and administrative experience to the country. Bola Tinubu, a populist, a leader, a grassroots support coach, promises to bring development and fight poverty and corruption. Atiku Abubakar, a seasoned politician with a wide network of contracts, promises to improve the economy and create jobs. But as we come to an end, the candidate crisscrossing the country trying to gain the trust of Nigerian people, and a dark force begin to emerge. Reports of voters' intimidation, bribery, and even violence begin to surface. It becomes clear that there are powerful individuals and groups who will stop at nothing to ensure their candidates win the presidency. As the voting day approaches, the country is on the edge, and it seems that the fate of Nigeria hangs in the balance. Will the nation continue to choose a leader who will bring unity and prosperity, or will it fall into the hands of those who seek to use the presidency for their own gain? The tension builds up as the votes are tallied and the results are too close to call. The drama marches a climax as the final results are announced and the country holds its breath to see who will become the next president of Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to run into a phase in Nigeria that will change the course of Nigeria for life. Don't sell your vote. Don't allow history repeat itself negatively. I want you to come out on the 25th of February with your PVCs and please vote the right candidate. We've seen what have happened in Nigeria in time past. 3 men came out and 3 men are coming out again. Forget about ethnic divisions, forget about religious divisions, and vote for the right candidate that will change the course of Nigeria. I'll see you in my next video. Please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel for more amazing stories and documentaries. My name is Gift, and bye for now.